This is how the Labour Party today handled dissent. Dissent from a man who's been a member since before Tony Blair was born. Party stewards certainly weren't joking. This was their response to an old man heckling Jack Straw during a debate on Iraq.
We want you to leave the premises. We want you to leave the premises.
On what grounds?
You may well ask. Walter Wolfgang claims he only shouted nonsense. Others say he shouted "that's a lie" during the Foreign Secretary's speech.
You know, I've got a right to my views, as Jack has got a right to his.
We're in Iraq now for one reason only.
It was that statement that provoked the heckle. Jack Straw appeared to barely notice, but then watch his eyes as the stewards move in.
Nation building from a violent past has never been easy.
Compare post-war Iraq, he said, with post-war Germany. Ironic, really, given that Mr. Wolfgang came to Britain after fleeing the Nazis.
I've been a member since 1948. I've had various positions of my party. I've been a parliamentary candidate.
That's the sound of the other man ejected. He'd come to Mr. Wolfgang's aid.
And I simply said, "You leave him alone, he's an old man." And 5 of the stewards physically manhandled me. They pulled me across chairs and pulled me out of the conference centre, threw me against a wall and threw me into a chair.
Then these 2 toughies came around and wanted to manhandle me out. And I said, well, I knew there were stewards. So I said, if you want me to leave, I'll leave. You don't need to manhandle me.
But it didn't end there. Police used anti-terrorism powers to hold Mr. Wolfgang when he tried to re-enter the conference. He was not arrested or charged. But once Labour Party delegates heard what had happened, this is how they responded.
This was an 80-year-old gentleman, and I'm sure Jack Straw, a politician of great experience, is able to deal with responses from the balcony without that kind of response from our stewards. Thank you.
4 hours later, the party's chairman apologised.
Occasionally incidents take place, unfortunately, and people get ejected. On most occasions, they get ejected appropriately. In this instance, he's ejected inappropriately, so we apologise.
Tonight, Mr. Wolfgang was hailed as a hero at a left-wing rally. Labour's fear of dissent has turned an old man with old Labour views into a feisty fighter for freedom of speech. Nick Robinson, BBC News, Brighton.